So, as I prepare to leave Okinawa and get off to the airport to fly to Tokyo to do things there, I thought now would be a good time to talk about my shirts and my hat and my pack. You see, I had this idea and I thought it was a good idea. I really thought it was a good idea. That when I came to Japan, this face I've got, you see, look, it's a white face, and it could be, okay, it's English or something, but it could be American, Australian, New Zealandian, Canadian, you get the picture. It could be German, French, Dutch, blah, 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 blah. But it's not, it's English. But you can't say I've got an English face. So I thought what I'd do is wear clothes that told people with a flag and words that I was from England. The idea being that because English is taught here, then people would feel confident to come up to me and say hello, knowing I would speak a language they spoke, English. So that was the theory, but in fact it hasn't been really very successful. A few people have come up to me because of my hat and my shirts and my bag, but mainly because I looked a bit odd. But I did have some interactions which I can attribute to the wearing of these garments. Now, when I get back to the UK, I won't be wearing them at all because, unfortunately, in the UK, the Union Jack flag has been hijacked by right-wing groups. Apparently the same sort of things happening in Japan. Right-wing groups, they seem to like taking the flag of the country as theirs, as though it somehow is synonymous with racism and all kinds of other exciting things that they like to delve into. So when I go home, these shirts, I'm just going to give them away in the hostels. Every time I go to a hostel from now on, I'll give a shirt to somebody who's there, and then they can throw it away when I'm not looking. So let me just show you the shirts. That was the idea. It was partly successful, but not very successful. But I tried. Lord knows I tried. And I think that's what counts, don't you? Also, you probably noticed I've lost my tooth. It's a false tooth, it's fallen out. I've got no tooth glue with me and I really couldn't be bothered to write home for any. So I'm going around sans front tooth. But never mind, because what it means is some of my F's, the F sound. Can't do. F's weird, isn't it? Anyway, let me show you the shirts. Okie dokie, this one I simply bought. Next. Okie doke, this one bought as a blank shirt. Bought this transfer. Asked them to put the word konnichiwa on it. It says ha, but it said wa. Konnichiwa, which is a kind of general purpose hello thing. Another shirt. Next. Well, this one is an absolute cracker, isn't it? I mean, God, just imagine wearing that normally. I suppose you could. And all I've done with this one is, with my fabric pens, I've put a rather attractive konnichiwa greeting down the diagonal from the next. Now when this one arrived, I just thought it looked really grubby and muddy and horrible, so I turned it inside out, got out my fabric pens, in fact you can see it showing through there, and I'll show you what I did to it. Oh yes, thank you John, if you would show us what you did to it. Here's what I did to it, you see. I traced the Union Jack very cleverly, and using fabric paint and felt pens, I put a konnichiwa in the middle there with a stencil thing. I put from England freehand. It's wobbly, but it's rather fantastic. And look how I made the letters appear to glow around the edges by clever use of colour. And they seem to move, don't they, in a strange, mysterious way. That's my favourite one. And then there is one more. There is one more because I had another Konichi hard transfer one and I wrote England underneath it. So that's those. Let me now show you my bag. Simply bought a Union Jack with a, look at that, little friendly, hello, I don't want to fight you, I just want to eat Japanese food and have interesting conversations with you people, sort of look to it. That's that one. And then finally, I bought this hat. And I thought, I need more on it. So look what I've got. I put a United Kingdom Union Jack patch on there, it's like that. And then I put the Beatles because I like the Beatles a lot, and I thought maybe other people would say, oh, Beatles. And in fact, a couple of people have come and talked to me because of the Beatles patch. So that one worked. Well done, Beatles. And then I wore the hat. You see, I wore the hat back to front, so that. Can you guess why? Are you ahead of me on being clever? Are you even cleverer than I think you are? Of course you are. Look, I put it so like that. But if people walking behind me, they'd see. They go, oh look, let's creep up on that Englishman and say, shout Beatles at him. You see my logic? That's my logic. You see, what with English being taught at school, it means a lot of people can speak some English, some incredibly well. And then I thought, well, that'll give them the confidence to come up to me and say, hello, from England, and have a chat, you know, and things like this. And by having these Union Jacks and England words and konnichiwa written in English, you see, it's all saying, oh, English, come here, come English, like that. But what I also didn't count on, even though I read about it in my research, which I didn't just go on Wikipedia, I did loads of things, it went down on the 15 times, I think. And when I was doing my research, one thing I found out was that Japanese people are very polite and quite insular, isolated. They're not great chatters. They don't go up to people generally. And I did notice this, you know, in my time here so far, that when you're in a social place where people might just normally have a bit of a chat, unless people were with friends they already knew, that didn't really happen. So I didn't really appreciate that. So I mean, a lot of people didn't even look. I was invisible because they're not nosy. It's impolite to be nosy. So yeah, so to that extent, it was a complete waste of time. We're spending all that time, money, thought, effort on the project. But having said that, for the few interactions I actually had that were prompted by my wearing of the flag, the proud flag of Britain, I think it was worth it, and I quite enjoyed watching some people's reactions, especially youngsters, people in hostels, people who were dressed a bit weird. They seem to be into it more. Funny that, yeah. If I had to generalise, which I don't, but I will, I would say that most of the people who came up to me unprompted were older people who I guess wanted to practice their English and stuff. And older people, you know, you always just feel kinder around older people, don't you? It's a cultural thing. So, oh, hello, old person, you know, because people do it to me. And so that was one thing. And the other thing was a lot of kids, when I was at many temples and what have you, and there were school groups particularly, there's always somebody who's going to say, hello, hello. And some people would come up and say, may I speak with you? And they knew 3 or 4 sentences in English. They'd say, thank you very much, and go away. And that was fine, but a bit dull after a while, as you can imagine. Here's another interesting thing. I'm nearly done on interesting things. Don't worry, I'll get to the boring things in a minute. In the UK, if you go around with a video camera filming children in public places, you get chased down the road, you get in trouble with the council and the police, and you get called really horrible names. I had an occasion recently, I was doing a football documentary and I wanted to film a football match that my nephew was taking part in. I wasn't allowed to. Rang the council and said, what's going on? And they said, yeah, you're not really allowed to. So I didn't, you know, but it's silly. Here, I've been waving my camera in all directions, especially at the temples and the school groups and just kids here and there. And no problems at all. In fact, especially around school groups and teachers join in and wave and things. So different attitude. Better or worse? I don't know, just different. Not as paranoid though, that's for sure. Not as paranoid. I've also had my photo taken with dozens of people I don't know. They just wanted to have a photo taken. Sometimes they'd pretend to have a chat with me first, but what they wanted was to get a photo with a white face in it, me in it or something. But probably to show to their friends saying, look, what's this? Have you ever seen one of these before? It looks a bit like a human. What do you think it is? I don't know, maybe I'll end up on Japanese weirdo shows. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how this thing of now with Facebook, of course, probably those photos on Facebook, they won't have tagged me because they don't know my name, but that means there are these anonymous photos of me looking rather delicious in my hat and various shirts with a konnichiwa written on over my flag, but I'll never see them. Oh, life can be so sad, but never see the photos. Farewell, Okinawa, you look much better like this. Time to go to Tokyo.